decided that it was actually a really long and arduous decision to come to. I had considered, when I first started transitioning, as you know, like I kind of like didn't use female pronouns at first, and I wasn't quite sure where I'd wind up on the other side of this. But yeah, it took me a while to get to that conclusion, and it's when I realized it, it was utterly mind-bending. It was a mind-bending decision, really, really heartbreaking. But the truth is, I have dysphoria, and will help alleviate that.
You have, sorry, the Skype went out for a second. You said you have what?
I have dysphoria. I have gender dysphoria, but like for some people, their genitals don't matter. For some people, it does. For me, it obviously does. And it's not something I really talk about with
Right.
with a lot of people. But you're like my sister, so.
Baby. So, are you going to have the surgery out in San Francisco?
That's the goal. One of the reasons I wanted to establish residency there is not just because of health insurance and whatever, but to make sure that make sure that I have a place to recover, and have a community around me who is going to be supportive of me.
Right.
I just want to let you know, if you want, I can plug in my sound system and a condenser mic if you need them.
I think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we're okay. It's weird. It's like different times of the day, my Skype is better and worse. Have you ever found that?
I don't Skype often enough for that. And then the last interview I did on Skype, I just did on audio.
Right.
It was a radio program.
Right. So. I think the audio is easier. So when are you thinking of going? First of all, you look amazing, by the way. I actually haven't seen you look good in a long time. Like, you just look really good to me.
I'm really freaking happy. Of course, now I'm obsessing over my hair in this little tiny screen. Just silly. So I'm gonna minimize the screen. I'm also sitting in front of a freaking mirror. Damn it! I just want this thing to curl in. Yeah, I mean, it's really. I feel great. I feel really great, and I feel myself and totally free in so many ways, and it's just like. I'm glad it's summer, and I'm just running around in these little sundresses, and just, my body's completely changed. My 1 year HRT mark was in October, and so now it's been more than a year and a half, and like the changes keep happening fast and furious, and it's just, oh gosh, I'm sorry. It's just amazing to just have a completely different body, a completely different form, and to feel totally comfortable in that, and to have other people praise it and praise me, and to feel different. And of course, there's all the other stuff that goes along with that, which all out of that, being harassed because you're a woman on the streets of New York, and and it's hard to be a tall woman in general. I've been dressing more with flats a lot, and wearing smaller clothing.
Oops.
I'm just just trying. I don't want to be a shrinking violet or anything. I just want to live a life and not be bothered by people.
Right.
Do I look okay? Am I in the right position?
Yeah, you look gorgeous. You do. You look really fucking gorgeous. So I want to let you know, just because it's important that I tell you everything. I met with Alex 2 days ago.
They told me that you met with them.
Oh, okay. Because
I just met. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm starting to do all these pitches. I resigned from my job, and I'm just doing these pitching shows full time. Because I really believe in them and in myself in a way that I just never actually did before. So, and the job I was in was sort of like being in an abusive relationship. So I was like, okay, that's enough. Oh shit! I'm just now realizing. Did I resend you the invitation? I didn't, did I?
No, didn't. And yeah, it's like, is it the 2nd or the 12th?
It's a 12.
Okay, perfect.
I'll remember. So we had a problem with a bunch of people getting the invitations, or it said that they received them, but then they said that they never did. So I don't know. Something has been a little wonky, so I just wasn't sure if I had actually like resent it or not. Okay, I will. So basically, I've been trying to think of. First of all, I looked at Mia's footage. I have it all, and there's some really beautiful stuff in there. Really, really beautiful. And you're at like you've got so many transitions going on, and I'm trying to figure out what's knowing who you are, and also quite honestly what the marketplace is, because there's a lot of interest in the trans community and stuff like that, but how do I in my own heart get behind who I know you are, and some aspect of your story that I think really celebrates who you are, and also is unique, right? Because like there's no one quite like our family, and
No.
and I feel very strongly about that. And if I'm going to put any of us out there, I want to I want to do it in a way that that really represents how unique I know we are. So what I was getting looking at all of the footage, really more than anything, was and also like talking to people that are like pitching a lot of shows, is your music is fucking A, beautiful, and B, has been your lifeline through all of this.
Absolutely.
And there's this one song, I Don't Want to Hurt No More. Is that it?
Don't Hurt No One No More.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like, because I've been looking at all of the footage and everything like that, and it's so resonating in my head as I look at everything. And I don't know even why, but basically, I really would like to pitch your story and your journey around your music. Your journey around your music.
Yeah, right.
You're a fucking musician, first and foremost. However you identify is how you identify, right? But like, you're a musician, and you're a really good musician. Like, fucking great.
Baby, I have a heart.
That's true. And I want to tell that story, and I'd like to be on the journey, and I think that there's a really amazing story there and journey there. And you're also, you're funny as shit. You're a smart motherfucker that, like, I remember when you and Chris totally got into it when you guys were out at the beach. And I know why, because he's like he can be such a know-it-all. And like, he never comes across someone that fucking truly does like know everything. And you're like wickedly smart. And I know like that, like, initially like that just drove him crazy. I mean, he like loves you now, but like initially he's like, who's this person that fucking knows something about everything?
You're making me blush.
Take it easy. So I guess here's a couple questions for you. First of all, when are you moving? Have you decided?
I have a ticket to California for June 9th, and I'm planning on being in San Francisco until my friend Chris, my bass player, is getting married in Detroit on the 18th, and so I was going to go to Chicago and just rent a car, drive out to Detroit, spend some time in Chicago, come back to New York to do Falcon Ridge, and spend time with family, and then but the next month of my life is going to be in San Francisco, which is kind of awesome. I've never spent 5 weeks anywhere in a really long time, but just getting settled and starting my new life out there and being with those people and discovering the music scene out there. And so that's that time frame. I'm moving then, and then figuring out if it's the right thing to do, and then when I come back, I'll probably most likely just move more stuff out there and kind of continue to just sort of get my stuff together, and hopefully by then I'll know more about my surgery timeline too, which would be really nice.
So, I mean, you're looking to do the surgery in the next, like, 6 months or a year?
I mean, that would be nice. There's a backlog, and then I have to deal with, I mean, look, if I had 25 grand, I'd be like tomorrow.
Right.
Right. I meet all the criteria. I got all my letters. I've got a support group, and I've got a place to live, and I've got work that I can do, as you know. And it's funny because surgery is not the be all and end all of trans stuff. It isn't, but it's important to me, and it's going to be a game changer, and I'm really excited about it.
Why is it important to you? This isn't a judgment question. It's more like helping articulate where you are in your journey and how what's important to you.
Surgery is important to me for some very, very personal reasons. It's just the essential thing is just making my body fit my mind, and my soul, and just making everything along properly. I mean, there's other surgeries I'd like to get. I would like to get a brow shave. I would like to get a nose job. I want to get a chin job. Come on, there's they talk about testosterone poisoning, right? And frankly, I'd rather get face surgery than surgery downstairs right away. But at the same time, it's like, look, I have relatives who've gotten plastic surgeries because they have health problems,
right?
And due to that, and for me, it's just one thing that's like it's one more weight lifted. This is me. I have genital dysphoria. It's the truth. I'm not comfortable with the way that part of my body is, and although in terms of becoming who I am now, that's been it's been a liberating thing to be able to just own my own body and have my act, and be able to relate to my body and to other people's bodies in very interesting and ways that I was never able to in previous relationships. It's it's just crystal clear what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you like just some like nuts and bolts questions? Because I
Sure.
don't have anyone else to ask things like this. So what does the surgery entail? And then you're gonna think this is the stupidest question in the world. But are you ready for it? After you tell me what the surgery entails, how do you masturbate?
Well, first of all, wait, before or after surgery?
No, after surgery. Now I get it. But after surgery.
I don't masturbate like I used to. I mean, basically, one of the things about hormone replacement therapy is that essentially, what winds up happening is you go through your second puberty. I basically went through a second puberty, and essentially my junk is I got a clit now. I got a clit and labia. It just needs to be reshaped, and so it's I don't do the old in and out anymore like that. It's not like that. It's just I have a Hitachi and I enjoy it, and I'm multi-orgasmic, and that's fucking fantastic. I'm a woman. I have a woman's body, and there's just some things there's some minor things that need to be corrected.
So you have sensations in different places now. Is that
Oh my God, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, my breasts have become a very important part of my sexual identity and expression and pleasure. Maybe even the most important thing, touch is very different. I mean, part of that was that I was so out of touch with my body
mm-hmm.
when, before I transitioned, I mean, you remember I used to wear all those horrible rough clothes.
Uh-huh.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it drove me crazy.
I know, and you couldn't understand. You're like, why do you wear these? And I'm like, well, I just don't feel it. And I literally didn't feel it. I did not feel all of the, I didn't feel all of that pain. It was just another way of covering up the pain. And when I started hormones, my skin started getting softer, and I started to like own my body. I was like, wow, I don't like the way this feels, and I'm not going to do this anymore. And I just put all the polyester in the garbage.
Right.
I mean, I gave it away, but although I'm wearing a polyester dress right now, but it's a summer dress, and it's very cute. But that's part of it, is that I've had this a very similar experience with other trans friends of mine, trans women specifically, because most of the people I sleep with are trans women or have relationships with at all, emotional, physical, whatever. Is just touch. I mean, touch is just so important, and it's just not something that I really had experienced in such a positive and wonderful way, and such an affirming way. And there's something very powerful about being with people who have the same kind of body that you do. I mean, I'm a woman.
You're
like,
You're what?
Other women, and like, I'm a queer woman. I'm a queer trans woman. So it's just like, it's really a very. It's interesting because I always identified as queer for a long time, but not like sort of when I thought I was a boy, it was never like I could never really get into like that thing that gay men do, because it wasn't really me. And now it's like, oh, now I get it, because it's like my body is right, and I'm with other people who have similar experiences, and it's like, it's a very affirming part of my queerness. It's just so lovely, and it's become a huge subject of my current writing. It's just sort of embracing my dykeness, which is a really big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. And so what's the plan with the album? Wait, hold on one second. I feel like I'm in the frame, and I don't know why I'm in the frame.
Why are you in the frame?
It's weird. Do you see me? No.
I have you on full screen.
God, I'm sorry.
I can minimize you.
No, it's not me. It's I see myself in the corner. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, you should see yourself in the corner.
Oh, okay.
That's the way it is.
So,
and if you click on that, you can minimize yourself.
Okay, I think I did. What's that? Hold on. Oh, I see. So what's the plan with the album?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. The plan with the album right now is I just hooked up with a company called Sink and Swim, which is a new sync company, and they're working on their launch. And they signed me. They really love my music. They came to the CD release party to shop me, and I've been talking with them. They have my entire catalog, and they're great. And these are some cats from Warner's who are going to go out on their own, and they're starting brand partnerships. They want to pitch my music to movies and TV, and I think that's fantastic. I've had those kinds of deals before. Some things have happened, some things haven't, but I get a really good feeling about these guys because they're really doing a boutique kind of thing. Another friend of mine is pitching an article about me to Rolling Stone and to Billboard, and even if those don't come through, she's been pitching hard, but she works for CBS, so she's going to, at the very least, do a story about me for CBS. It's hard to say, because one of the things I'm realizing upon releasing this album is that people don't buy CDs anymore. People don't buy physical music unless you're touring, which is fine, and like, I have to figure that out. I really would like to tour more. A lot of my music sales have been word of mouth, and the trans community has responded incredibly well to my music. It's not that I don't have a plan. It's just that I'm really unsure of the current scope of the music community. the same token, I'm networking and talking to people, and really, really hoping a lot of these connections I'm making are going to come through. And that, I mean, it's not that I'm not being proactive, of course not. I'm like talking to people every day and whatever, but you know the way the music business is. It isn't.
It isn't.
And my hope is that, between, the articles I write and the things that people write about me, and hopefully this work that we're going to do together, Don't Hurt No One No More, it is technically the single on my album. I love it. I think it's a radio hit, especially on Left of the Dial radio. I looked into some radio promotion. I didn't really find anybody that I thought would be the right fit. Mm-hmm. Actually talking to Brad too, Brad was just like, if you're going to do radio promotion, you have to spend way more money than you actually have. And it's like, it's a difficult thing, and because I'm essentially like the transgender Lucinda Williams, and it's like, how do I get on that radar? Because when people see me, and they see me play, especially when they see me play blues, when they see me play mandolin, when they hear my songwriting, they're like, oh, you're like Drake meets Lucinda Williams. And I'm like, yes, I am.
You're who meets Lucinda Williams?
Nick Drake meets Lucinda Williams.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing. And it's funny, too, because when I've said that phrase to people, I've said, yeah, I think it'd be like a trans Lucinda Williams. They're like, that's so perfect. Because the problem is, it's like, as you know, my music is like sort of very classic sounding without either A, being a pastiche, or it's relevant music. But the problem is, it's like artists like Sheryl Crow and, I don't know, even the Dixie Chicks these days are like, they're put into the category of heritage rock. And I don't want to, and the problem is, it's not that I'm making that music, I'm making relevant, timely music. But Lucinda is probably one of the few people who, could be considered in that category and isn't. It's just pure rock Americana folk. And that's what I'm doing. And so that's kind of where I've been focusing. And people's faces light up when I say that.
Rock Americana folk or the transgender Lucinda Williams?
The transgender Lucinda Williams. And of course I'd love to open for her or Laura Jane Grace from Against Me, who I got to meet the other night, and that was incredible. And they're, I think I'm one of the few people who are trans in professional music who are doing sort of what I'm doing. There's another writer named Namoli Brennett, who's out of New Mexico, I think, who's also trans. She's more on the sort of side of, typical female singer-songwriter-y kind of thing. Whereas I'm like playing really old bluesy, Nina Simone, Lucinda stuff, and not a lot of people are doing that, and I'm pretty happy to be there. The problem is, it's like, how do I amplify my voice? And how do people find me, connect with me? Mm-hmm. And it's not, and being trans, like I have a whole host of shit to deal with, frankly, every single day of my life. Between harassment and judgments and just, everyday stuff. And even just getting out of bed is sometimes hard for a lot of people, because it's like the world is really cruel, and there's a lot of cruelty and exposure, and not everybody treats you with respect. And that one of the reasons I'm moving to San Francisco is because the West Coast is a lot more understanding of that. Certainly I've been completely embraced by the folk community here in the Northeast, which is huge. I mean, on Sunday I'm doing a major radio show and then playing a gig at BB King's with a blues band, and for a fundraiser with Garland Jeffries, which is like mind-bending to me. And so it's just like I've become this like cool person in the scene, and people know who I am and they're familiar with my music, but at the same time, it's like I want to live an everyday life that isn't necessarily like the life that everything became different when I came out of it. And it's not that I can't take it or I'm not tough. I'm pretty tough, but you have to be tough to go through a process of self-acknowledgement. But and I love New York, and New York's been good to me. But when you find yourself not leaving your apartment, not because you're scared to leave, but just because like there's not much to do, or there's or you're just running around hustling, and it hurts. It just hurts. It hurts to be harassed on the subway. It hurts to be followed down the street. And not that doesn't happen in San Francisco, but I've got, it's certainly a much more embracing place for transgender people on the West Coast. And I also just can't stand humidity. It ruins my hair.
What'd you say?
I can't stand humidity because it makes my hair frizzy. So I'm,
so you're
moving it up. I'm serious.
Wait, just tell me you can't stand the humidity because it makes your hair frizzy, so you're moving to San Francisco. Tell me that.
I can't stand the humidity because it makes my hair frizzy. So I'm moving to San Francisco. Why? I'll save money on hair products.
Yes, you will. Will you describe to me, because I'm telling people a little bit about you, and I'm like, here's the deal. I'm like, she's an amazing musician, and they're like, and I think they're like, oh, singer songwriter. I'm like, no, she's fucking like one of the most badass guitar players I know, and like just like fucking like a killer artist. So how would you categorize yourself as like in your artistry as a guitar player and like as a performer? Like, are you a good guitar player? Do you like?
Yeah, I think I'm a top-notch guitar player. I'm also a stylist. I feel like the style that I chose to pursue is this very soulful one. I'm really influenced by Steve Cropper and Sister Rosetta Tharpe and B.B. King, and Eric Clapton. Did I say Jimi Hendrix already? I don't know if I did, but people who are very expressive guitar players. And also being a recording engineer, one of my jobs is to find those tones and find the right part and make that part fit. I also play lap steel, which is a beautifully expressive instrument and also a really badass instrument. But, I play everything from fingerstyle acoustic guitar to just really ripping, mean psychedelic blues, punk rock, and it's really served me well. I think a lot of people get caught up in one style. I don't, and I'm constantly trying to expand what I do and make that a focus. But yeah, I love what I do, and I love writing and just playing with other people, and especially I just love wailing. I just love wailing on guitar, making the guitar sing.
Fantastic. Okay, so now talk to me a little bit, as much as you want, about the state of your love life.
My love life is in an interesting place. I just left a 4-year relationship with someone I love very much. We just came to a point of complete. This is part of what you're interviewing me, or
well, I don't know if
you want me to get.
Well,
I don't know what.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I would include it or not, but it's good just to sort of like pretend like I know nothing.
Okay.
And you've just got like a couple minutes to update me on your life. So update me on the status of like where your love life. Where was it at? Where's it going?
For 4 years, I was married to a person named Alex, whom I still love very much, but it became obvious that our ideas of what our relationship looked like were very different, and the way we lived was very different, and unfortunately it came to a head that wasn't very happy and got kind of ugly and in a very weird way that I've never experienced. And concurrently to that, I fell in love with a woman named Jamie out in San Francisco, whom I've known for some time. We started spending a lot of time together when she was visiting New York, and we have a very special bond. At the same time, I'm also what some people call non-monogamous, some people call polyamorous, some people call relationship anarchy. And I have relationships with a number of different people that I love, both sexual and platonic, and one is not more important than the other. There's no hierarchy, and I'm actually moving in with Jamie, which and which was completely unexpected. But room opened up in her apartment, and all of a sudden, like, well, I don't have a place in New York anymore, so might as well take a chance. And I've never done anything so spontaneous. At the same time, it's been really hard because I had such a close relationship with Alex for so long, and I didn't want that to end. And unfortunately, events and occurrences happen that have made it completely intractable, and I'm never going to be able to, I can't go back there now. And hopefully, maybe one day all the things will get straightened out, and maybe things will get returned to me. And yeah, my partner stole a bunch of my shit and destroyed a bunch of my shit and destroyed all of my art, my entire art archive from the last 6 years, threw out my computer and my backup, and my 2 best guitars are gone. I have no idea where they are. And it's like, it was such a violation, and it was an expression of their hurt and pain, which I get, but there's limits. We discuss things. You don't take violent action against other human beings, and regardless of what the problem is. And I never wanted to hurt Alex, and Alex is very hurt, and that breaks my heart. I woke up this morning and I just, and it's like I just cried because, there's this person that I knew so well, and then I didn't know them at all. And how do you go on with that? How do you go on from that? And concurrently, it's like there are other people that I'm close to that are telling me, surround yourself with people who love you and heal. And so part of me going to California and starting a new life there is healing. I need to heal. Quick interrupt. Am I looking at the camera enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of my thing right now is sort of a declaration of independence and a refocusing of priorities in my own life. What's the most important thing is for me to be a creative artist. I've been writing, I've been composing, I've been recording. I've been doing more of that than I have in a really long time. And not trying to get so caught up in other people's stuff. And also, yeah, that's the state of my love life. I'm very much in love with a number of people. And there's another girl in my life named Kate who lives here, who's a roller derby queen, and she's amazing.
That's cool.
And yeah, she's really cool. She's from Staten Island. She's tough, and we are just, I'm going to miss her a lot when I move, but she understands why I'm moving and why I have to move, and that's the whole thing. Is that even though I'm leaving this one wonderful relationship I had, it's like all of this stuff that has been opening up, all these new things have opened up since I've left, and because of that, much to my surprise, I don't really have a regret. I don't have regrets about it, and stuff is just stuff. Maybe it'll come back to me, maybe it won't. I'll be sad if it doesn't. But I'm alive, and I'm not hurt, and all I want is for Alex to live a good life and to be happy and to succeed, because they're one of the most talented people I've ever met.
Yeah.
But it's just, we can't even talk anymore, and it's terrible. And I'm not trying to be cruel to them. They're trying to be really cruel to me, and it's about the worst thing that I could have ever imagined. After all that, the love that we shared.
Did you guys legally marry?
We are technically registered domestic partners. I have to dissolve the partnership at some point. I think according to the laws of New York, you just have to literally leave the place of dwelling. There's nothing terribly legally binding about that. We did it just to have some sort of legal status. In retrospect, I'm kind of glad we didn't get married, which is really sad to say, because of the property damage and all of this other stuff. And,
right.
And, it's something always, we tried to get married a few times, but there was always something, an office was closed, we got there too late, and I don't know. I'm trying not to question all this stuff too much. I'm trying to take responsibility for the things I know I can take responsibility. I'm trying to take responsibility for the things I know I can take responsibility for, and I'm also embracing this sort of otherness of my life right now. The fact that I have been given this gift of time and space and change. Change is a very interesting thing, and I've already had to rebuild my life from ashes a couple of times. First, when I lost my voice and my band back in 2012, then coming out in 2014 and saying, this is who I am, and rebuilding that career, which is thriving. People really just have embraced who I am as a woman, and now I'm rebuilding again. And, isn't that life, though? The process of breaking down and building up again, that's how you build muscle. That's how you build strength.
That's right. That's right, baby. That's how you build strength. Okay, 2 other things.
Yes.
And I just, now I miss you so much because I'm talking to you. Now I'm like, oh, I have to see you.
Well, we can get together next week, maybe.
Okay.
If you're around.
Yeah, I'm around. Holiday, you want to see Maya? She's half asleep, so she's gonna move one eye. She's like, whatever. Okay, so 3 questions. The first is, would you say that you started HRT and recording your album at the same time? About?
Absolutely. I started HRT on October 7th, and I started recording the record on October 15th of 2013.
And when did you finish recording your record?
I finished recording my record on September 1st, 2015.
And where are you in your HRT process?
In 2014.
Okay.
I started my record on October 20. Let me say that again. I started my record. I started HRT on October 7th, 2013. I started the record on October 15th, 2013. I came out on May 31st, 2014, and I finished the record on Labor Day, appropriately enough, in 2014. It took me a year to do it, and I think it was a wonderful experience because when I started, it just all made sense.
So, can you just say that I started the transition in my life and the making of my album at the same time?
I started the transition and making the album at the pretty much okay. I started my transition and the album pretty much at the same time in my life, and the album mirrors a lot of that.
Great, thank you.
Do you want me to say it again? Because I can.
Yes, but a little bit more resolute. Just sort of exactly like you said. The album, does in fact mirror my transition. And now, this is where I'm at. Now I'm preparing for what's for me the final leg of my transition, which is surgery.
That's not the final leg.
Oh, I'm preparing for. I want to show you started recording the album at the same time you started the HRT, and now this is the next stage. You're preparing for. I want to find a parallel between where you are now in your transition and where your album is. Right. So the album, you've just gotten signed, and now you're talking about like the next step. You're moving to San Francisco, surgery, and like it's. I think there is a mirror, and I just want you to like in the most simple, eloquent, and concise way to be able to say it, because I think that the two are tied.
Absolutely. It's also important to me, and saying this to you personally, it's really important not to sensationalize trans women's bodies, because it's like I'm comfortable talking about my surgical goals with you, but there's this constant concept that somebody completes a transition when they have that kind of surgery, and that's just not true. It's not true for everybody. Not everybody wants that surgery. Not everybody needs it.
Right.
And a whole lot of people can't access it or afford it.
Right.
Thankfully, that's changing. But so that's the whole thing. So let me make that statement. I started my transition and started recording my album within a week. And the two are very much tied together. And the entire process of transitioning, and especially the first year when my body started changing so much, and the fact that I finished the record almost around my 1 year mark, it's not a coincidence. And absolutely, there's a huge arc that parallels within both my own personal life and the record.
Okay. All right. That's good. And then say, in this next stage of my life, for musically, this is what I'm planning for the record. Personally, in my transition, this is what I'm planning. And that way, it's sort of like you're just sort of laying out, this is the next stage. Musically, I've just been signed, I'm looking at possibly like, touring and transition wise. And so, I'm now, beginning the second leg.
One of the wonderful things that happened after I released my album is that I was completely embraced again by a community which had already embraced me, and all of these wonderful things started happening. I was showcased at major music festivals and signed to a sync deal, and now it's pretty much the second phase of my transition, both personally and professionally. I'm working on moving towards touring and becoming a known entity on that festival circuit and the Americana scene. And I'm progressing in my transition just in terms of the things that I want to do with my body and the changes I want to continue to make. And also the people I surround myself with and the way I live my life. Because one of the most important things about my transition, and one of the things that people don't really talk about, is reprioritization. What do I want in my life? Because when I was being poisoned by testosterone, it was just go, 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 get. What can you get? What can you do? What am I not doing? Oh my God, fear of missing out, this, that, and the other thing. Right now, I want to find a place of peace in myself. Part of that is making the necessary adjustments within my body, within my soul, within my mind, within my living situation. And the other part of it is just continuing to kick ass and play a lot of music. And I'm very excited about the idea of starting newer musical relationships in California, in the West Coast, while continuing to build my music career in New York, because it's still going to happen. I'll be back here all the time, and in Chicago, and in Austin, and all these other places where I have bands and people who love me and people who support me. But there's a huge second phase happening right now, and I love it. I just love who I'm becoming and the state of becoming. It's amazing.
Perfect.
Did I answer your question? You want me to be more blunt? I can take notes.
I want you to be like, are you considering doing any sort of tour? Because that's easy to like be like, in this next stage, I'm going to be touring my album in major festivals to promote it, and also blah, blah, blah. Okay. Short and sweet is good.
Sure.
And I'm writing another note to myself about what else I was going to ask you. Okay. When you're ready. Okay.
I'm good.
No, I was just writing another question. I kept forgetting it, so I just wrote it down.
Okay, so it's been 21 months since I started transition, and in that time, I've made the record. I've come out publicly and been embraced by a community, and I'm moving. I'm moving in so many different directions, and I'm literally moving. I'm moving across the country. And in this second phase of my transition, because that's how I feel it is, I'm going to be touring behind the record. I'm going to be seeking more radio exposure, making those connections, those personal connections with other trans artists of note, and continuing to mentor kids the way that I have been. And there are a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of people who want to embrace me in that manner. And the most important thing, though, is for me, living my life authentically and continuing to evolve into the person I'm becoming. It's an amazing experience.
Cool. Okay, I just have 2 more questions. That was very good.
Thanks.
Good job. You get a cookie. Okay. Just tell me a little bit about your relationship. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with your parents. Since you started the transitioning, tell me about your parents' support of you musically and also in your transition. And just like tee it up for me.
Okay. I'm going to think about what to say.
And be like, first of all, you got to raise your energy a little bit.
Sure, I'll be fine. It's been really hard dealing with my family. When I first came out, a lot of them didn't believe that this was real. It took a long time for them to understand that it was, and certainly some people completely embraced me right away. It was very, very tense with my mother and my sister, who were my closest family members for a long time. But the wonderful thing is that they've been very, very embracing and very supportive of me now, and I'm here at my mother's house in New Jersey and just feeling very much at home in a way I haven't in a very long time. And that, to me, is a gift. Unfortunately, I don't really have a relationship with my father anymore, and that's something that I'm trying to change. I've been talking to some people who work with him. We've basically not communicated at all since I came out publicly. He said some really negative stuff about me, and I don't want negative forces in my life, but at the same time, I miss my dad. I miss my dad a lot. Is that good?
That's good. Was your dad like a cantor or what?
My father's a rabbi.
Okay.
Want me to talk about that?
Yeah, man. You were like born into upstate New York religious family, Jewish family with a smart intellectual mother and a father that's a rabbi. And a lot of people are like, well, Jews don't make waves. Like I hear that all the time because I'm not like I'm not like the good model either, right? So
right.
When are you having children, Aaron? When are you that sort of thing? So like anyway.
One of the things about growing up Jewish is that there's such a taboo on body modification, especially in the modern era after the Holocaust, because the Jewish people were diminished so severely. And I think part of the fear that my family has had behind my change is that they're going to lose me. I'm still incredibly Jewish, growing up with an incredibly intellectual mother who's been one of the biggest influences on my life. This person who was, when they were my age, went back to school and got her master's degree and became an architect in a time when women really didn't do that. And one of the reasons my father and my mother divorced is because my father couldn't deal with that, and that is a part of it. And I grew up in almost a radical Jewish home. My father was a disciple of the late Zalman Schachter, who was a one of the first people to embrace LGBT people within the Jewish tradition. And it's very hard for me that he still hasn't. Repeat your original question.
Just say. I was raised. Where were you raised? Do this. My name is blah blah blah. No, don't do that now. Just say I was raised. I want you to tell me like upstate New York or where or Westchester or whatever. By in a Jewish family with a mother that's an architect and a father that's a rabbi. Just do that because that like fucking tells you everything, right?
I was raised in suburban New Jersey, right outside of New York City, with a father who was a rabbi and a mother who is an architect.
Is your father still a rabbi?
My father continues to practice. My father is still a rabbi. He's gone very much to the right wing, which is unfortunate for a lot of people, and it makes it very hard for us to relate. My mother is still a wonderfully liberal person who has influenced me tremendously. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met, has beat cancer back for 14 years, went out when she was 37 and got her master's degree. Amazing person.
Cool. Thank you very much.
She drives a stick shift.
Okay, and wait. What was the last one? Parents. Oh, can you just tell me? Tell me a couple anecdotal, like some of like the hardest things that have happened to you while you're transitioning in the music community. For example, the Jack Hardy Song Circle. Don't go into like detail. Just like I'm going to ask you like talk about some of the hard stuff musically or not musically, and then I want you to tell me some funny anecdotes also.
Okay. There have been some harder points in adjusting to the music community. Before I came out publicly, I had belonged to this songwriting group called the Jack Hardy Songwriters Exchange. Jack Hardy was this amazing, magical person. I'm sitting at his desk right now. His kids gave me his desk, gave me his mandolin after he died. He was my teacher and very much a father figure to me. And when he died, we kept the Songwriters Exchange going. People meet every Monday night and bring in a new song. Unfortunately, a lot of people at that exchange come from the old school. And when I started realizing I was about to come out, and I started realizing that most of my community had become queerer or trans people, and I started talking to some of them, and they're like, yeah, we don't, there's no place safe for us to go and express our music. I was like, well, let me start working with these people to try to make this a safe space. And frankly, a lot of older white people couldn't deal with that. Frankly, a lot of older white men couldn't deal with that. And even though I hadn't come out yet, I very much felt othered, and I left the group for a long time. Things have mended since then, to a certain extent, but and people have been very supportive of me for many reasons. But it's hard for me to go back in that space. And at the same time, it's a little heartbreaking because I'm really good at critiquing songs. But I continue to work with my friends, and I've been told many times by a lot of queer and trans women especially, when I transitioned, I didn't think that I could sing again. I'd always had a musical career, but because I transitioned and now, I'm afraid that my voice isn't right. And then I see you on stage, Maya, and I feel like I can do it again. And I feel like that's something that Jack would have been very proud of. And I'm very proud of that.
Great. Okay, can you just list for me, not musically related necessarily, just like, transitioning, yes, there are some really nasty people out there, and transitioning can be really hardcore, and just go like, do. Just a couple like, off the cuff examples.
Transitioning can be an incredibly difficult thing, especially if you live in a city, especially if you're a person of color, which I'm obviously not. There's stuff that trans women of color go through that I can't possibly understand. I have friends who are harassed a whole lot more than I am, and who one of my childhood high school friends was killed here in New Jersey for being trans. She's black, and it was really messed up. And the whole thing was bad. She was shot in the face. I've had a bunch of my friends in the last 2 years commit suicide. It's a world where people laugh at us constantly. People constantly make us the butt of jokes, whether they're cross-dressing jokes on the Colbert Report or the Daily Show, which happened all the time. One happened last night, which really upset me. Or films like the Dallas Buyers Club, where you have men playing women. It diminishes the experience of, or transparent, it diminishes the experiences of being a person who was assigned male at birth and has to transcend this body somehow through whatever kind of intervention it is. Men in dresses don't understand that. Men playing women do not understand that. They don't understand our lives, and that's possibly the biggest affront to the trans life, the trans experience. And it's also incredibly dangerous for trans people because we get thought of as, tricking people or just men in dresses. Mm-hmm. And a veil of drag is put on us constantly, and it's awful. Trans women especially are not accepted in so many queer communities. We're thrown under the bus, and we don't have the same rights as other people. I am a second-class citizen in many ways, legally, and that's the truth. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst part of it. Aside from, there are people who transition in communities who have cars, who have money, who have previously had jobs, and they have a much easier time of transitioning. People on the higher income levels and people who don't have to take the subway every day, people who don't have to walk to work. They can get in their car, they can go home, they can live their life. They might have lost friends and family, and I would never diminish their experiences because they're just as valid as everybody else's. However, there are things that people are going through in cities that, especially younger trans people who don't have any resources, that just don't get seen, or if they do get seen, they only see the tragedies, they don't see the successes, and we don't see enough of the tragedies, and we're not learning the lessons that we need to learn.
Right. Okay, that was fantastic. Thank you. Not fantastic to hear, but really, really good. Really important, and you covered a lot of different things.
Okay.
And then the last thing is just funny instances, aside from me forcing you into Spanx.
Aside from that,
oh no, you can talk about that. You can just say, everyone thinks that it's, say, like everything in life, there is also a lot of humor.
There's also, there's other stuff about me in the music community I can talk about too. There was something I was going to bring up specifically.
Okay.
Which is just to say, I've lost gigs. I've had people tell me they don't know how to market my music and cancel shows. I've gotten less calls for gigs, and it parallels every other woman's experience that I know who's a professional musician in New York, and that's the truth of the matter. It's not just about being trans, it's about being a girl. I've been in rehearsal spaces with men who, before I transitioned, treated me with the utmost respect, and I've had them completely talk down to me, or to explain to me what's going on, or to just, I'm like, I've been a recording engineer for almost 20 years, and I've been playing guitar since I was 10, and I write about this stuff for magazines. Screw you. And it's very difficult. It's great to be embraced by places like the Deli, where I write music reviews and things like that, but that's not the norm for me here, which is a shame.
Right.
Like everything else in life, there is humor. Some of it's darker than others. Trials and tribulations. Mostly, it's just less humor than just enjoying myself and the springtime and running around my mother's front yard that's covered in clover and twirling around in a little dress and feeling absolutely free. It's just such a wonderful feeling. Buying bras is a very funny experience. And that just that took a while to figure out. And luckily, the good people of Victoria's Secret are very, very, very nice and have a great sense of humor. And like figuring out what size I was hard. I think the funniest thing was just wake like every other woman. I went through growing pains. And it's like, oh, this hurts. Whoa, I can't sleep on my stomach anymore. Oh my God. All this other stuff like that. And there is a lot of joy in my life. There's a ton of joy, and there's a ton of. It's hard to say. It's because it's not funny. It's not funny being trans. It's not that I'm saying that.
Right.
Within our community, we'll make jokes.
Right.
And whatever, but like, there's so many people who make trans people the butt of jokes that it's hard for us to find a sense of humor within a lot of the things we face every day. We face death, we face threats, we face absolute horrors. I was on the Staten Island ferry about a week ago and went into the ladies' room, and somebody freaked out and was like, there's a man in the ladies' room, and sent a male crew member into the ladies' room, cleared out the ladies' room, and knocked on the door just to ask me what I was doing there and when I was going to leave. And that was utterly frightening. And just, unfortunately, something many trans people deal with a whole lot worse stuff than that. That was really awful.
Ugh.
I don't travel alone anymore. If I travel by plane. I rarely take road trips anymore by myself. And I'm very, very careful about where I go and what I do. Yeah. I'm trying to find something.
No, you're good. It's all good. It's all good. We're done. But so though I have to say, I mean, like, I stopped playing with my band because they were just they couldn't get that I was just as smart and talented and happened to be the one that was writing all of the fucking music that they were playing. And then Brad would come into a rehearsal and they would treat him so differently, and I would just be like, ah. It's crazy, right? And you're telling me like
it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, you're telling me that you were like treated fucking really well when you were identifying as male, and in a rehearsal studio, all of a sudden you're treated like a second-class citizen because you're identifying as female. It's fucking. Ugh.
It's awful.
It's rough, man. I resigned from my job because I had a female boss, and she had nothing but male showrunners except for me, and she couldn't have been nicer to all of them except for me. And I was like, man, sexism is not only still alive, but alive in ways people don't fucking understand.
Absolutely. And it's not a fun thing at all.
No, it's not.
It's just something I have to deal with.
Okay, so all I need you to do is sit up and put your hair behind because it's sticking out. Thank you. Just tell me your name. Just say my name is blah blah blah, or you can say just your first name if you want, or your first and your last. I'm this age, and I'm tell me the sort of music you're like. You're calling it rock Americana folk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're calling it? Okay. I'm a rock Americana folk artist, and I've just finished my new album, and tell me the name of it.
Okay.
Energy.
My name is Maya Byrne, and I'm 37. I just finished my first record out as a proud transgender woman, and it really represents me as a punky, folky, Americana rock artist. I'm super proud of it. It's called As I Am. Pretty appropriate, I think.
Do that again, but like you're like I want you to just be like, this is who I am, da da da. It's the same thing, but do it again.
My name is Maya Byrne, and I'm a 37-year-old transgender woman. I just finished my first album out, and it's a collection of the essence of who I am. which is a funky, folky Americana rock artist.
Okay, try. My name is Maya Byrne. I'm 37 years old. I'm a folk Americana rock artist, and I just finished my first album as a trans artist. I just got signed to Sink or Swim, and yeah, and I just got signed to Sink or Swim, and I'm really excited to get the album out there and see how it goes.
Okay, just making notes. So should I say my name is Maya Byrne? I'm 37. I'm a proud transgender woman, or should I say I'm Maya Byrne? I'm a rock artist.
Maya Byrne. I'm a rock artist. I'm a rock Americana. Folk Americana rock artist, and I just finished my first album as a what would you say, as a transgender? How do you say it? Like, what would you say?
I would say I came out as transgender
a year and a half ago, and a year and a half, and just finished my first album
as myself.
Yeah, I've just gotten signed to a label.
Well, not really.
Right. Okay. And I'm ready to hit the road. No, just you don't need any of that stuff. And I just finished my first album as a blah blah blah. That's it. And then
okay. So.
High energy.
My name is Maya Byrne. I'm 37 years old, and I'm a transgender woman. Okay. My name is Maya. So, write me a script.
No, motherfucker, I can't. You gotta come on. You can do it.
Okay.
My name is Maya Byrne.
My name is Maya Byrne. I'm 37 years old, and I am a folk Americana rock artist. I just got signed to a sync deal, and I'm ready to go out on the road behind my first album since transitioning, which is called As I Am, and I'm just incredibly excited about my life right now.
Okay. All right. I'll do pieces of it. Can you look at the camera one time when you're doing it? My name is Maya Byrne, da-da-da, da-da-da. And just, what did you do? You said,
just tell me.
My name is Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist.
My name is
Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist.
Rock Americana?
Or you could say, yeah, rock Americana.
Rock Americana folk artist?
Yep.
My name is
Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist. A year and a half ago, I started to record my first artist. My first artist is my first album as a trans artist, and also began my you know what I'm trying to say, my transition. And now I'm done with the album and ready to hit the road.
Let's try this. Superstar time.
Go!
My name is Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist, and a year and a half ago I began recording my first album and started my transition. And now I'm done with the album. I've been out for a year, and I'm ready to hit the road.
Oh, all right. Try it again. Just say whatever the fuck you want. You know the general idea.
My name is Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist, and this is hard. Yeah.
My name is Maya Byrne. My name is Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist. Just try it one more time and then we're done. It's fine. This is so not fucking important.
My name is Maya Byrne. My name is Maya Byrne. My name is Maya Byrne, and my name is Maya Byrne. I'm a rock Americana folk artist, and a year and a half ago, I started my first record as myself at the same time as starting my transition. And now it's a year since I've come out as a trans woman, and the album is out, and I'm ready to hit the road.
Woo! Done. See ya. Bye. That's it.
That's it?
That's good. You did it. I'm happy. I'm totally happy.
Do you have stuff to make your sizzle?
Yeah. I've been literally going through everything you gave me and everything Mia gave me. And the best stuff is the stuff like you in the studio, you on stage. Like, those are like really beautiful pieces. You sitting, can I ask you something? You were sitting in your PJs in your apartment listening to something being played. Was that listening to your own recording? Do you remember sitting in a chair and you were just listening to a recording? And she was filming you. And I'm trying to remember if it was, I'm not sure if it was your own recording or if it was, you don't know. All right, never mind.
I don't know because I don't have access to any of those files anymore. You are the only one who has. I mean,
I'll send you.
My stuff is gone.
Okay, fuck. Okay, I'll send you a screen grab of the still from it. These files are way too fucking big. I can't send anything. But if I send you a screen grab, maybe you'll remember.
Take an iPhone video and message it to me or something.
Okay, I'll do that because
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
The other thing is too, if you want me to send any of my more recent video diaries to you, I can Dropbox them.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that today.
Oh, that would be a huge help because
I'll do it right now.
Okay, because I'm running to one other meeting and then I'm spending the rest of my night with you because tomorrow morning I'm going to start working on the sizzle.
All right. If you need me, I'm accessible, and you can just call me. I'm going to be here. Sunday, I got the thing at BB King's, which you all should come to.
Yes, totally. What time is that at?
I think the band that I'm playing with is on first, so we'd be hitting right at 8.
Okay.
If the two of you can make it, that'd be great. If you can't, I understand. And either way, I'd like to see you before I leave town.
Oh, God, yeah. So it's possible that Brad won't come only because Rachel is flying in from Israel. She did Birthright.
She's done already? Was that quick?
Well, she was done like 10 days ago, and then her mom met her, and they've been in Turkey and Greece. But she's coming back at 6 on Sunday. But I'll be free. I want to come down and see you. You
should maybe I'm going to be on that stage playing. I'm playing guitar for I'm playing guitar for a guy named Pork Chop Willie. I'm going to have a huge solo. So I don't know if you have a camera and you want to bring it, it might be a good.
Yeah, I don't have a camera. I just have my phone. But maybe I'll try with the phone. But there's really good footage of you. Like fucking.
Some great.
There's some like rock star footage of you. Yeah. The sound, the recording of your vocals when you're doing the live stuff isn't great. It's not nearly as present as the guitar, but that's okay because what I'd like to do is just use stuff from your album for as the clips rather than.
I gave you all the stuff from Sand. The last stuff was the January 2019 footage.
Yeah.
From Rockwood. That's pretty much that, and the June and the stuff from last July are probably the best 2 things.
Yeah. Also, can you just send me? Where do I have the tracks? Brad takes all my music. Anything that I have, Brad takes.
Do you have a pen? I'll give it to you right now. Or just write it into your browser. It's bit.ly.
Hold on. bit.ly
/MYA 2015 songs.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's the album that I should take you to a Dropbox link. Do you see it?
Yep.
Songs 1 through 10 are the album. Everything else is unreleased stuff.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because I'm just gonna focus on that. But dude, the guitar sounds really good in that live stuff, and just like the light, and you just look like such a fucking badass. It's, oh my god, it's good.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for teaching me how to dress, kiddo. That's the most important thing.
I've just created a mini me.
You really did. I tell people that all the time. I tell people how, like, and I'm like, because, you know, I have other girls who come up to me, they're like, you dress so nicely. How'd you figure it out? I'm like, baby, it's all Aaron Sachs. It's all Aaron Sachs.
When you're accepting your first big award, will you give me a shout out for being your stylist?
Babe, if this all works out, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of success.
I know, man.
This is a huge story, and it's, you know,
it's great. It's great,
I believe in you.
I totally, and I believe in you, and I love you. I mean, I just like love you. I fucking miss you so much talking to you. It's crazy.
Well, I'm in the city Wednesday. I mean, I'll be in the city on on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I could theoretically come in early at any of those points.
Okay.
I'm working on the third. The Wednesdays are usually best for me to get together.
Okay.
But because I'm in Midtown, I'm in Chelsea rather. I have my shrink appointment, and then I usually have lunch. I usually take lunch after that.
Okay.
But let's figure out a day when we can hang out.
Yeah. Also, because Brad's never in town, and he's coming in for 10 days, so that would be good.
Yeah, I'll have time.
Okay. All right. I love you. Thank you so much.
And
can I just see the dress again? I love it. I love the cut.
Thanks.
You know that I'm gonna love the fucking cut of that. Yeah. Yeah. Totally my thing. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I have boobs. I have much bigger boobs than last time you saw me. They're huge.
I see. Dude, I totally see.
Fucking Christ. What the fuck?
Dude.
It's crazy.
Dude. It's the highs and lows of being a woman. It's the highs and the lows. Like, the orgasms are great, but, like, at the same time, oh my god.
Thank you, Hitachi.
Dude, I've just got my period. I can't even zip up my dress. I'm just like,
God.
ugh. Fucking hormones, man.
That's crazy.
Make it stop. Yeah.
I'm basically constantly ovulating.
Ugh. Dude, that's insane. Though when you're ovulating, you're horny, so you're basically like fucking horny constantly.
Well, the funny thing is my sexual appetite has changed quite a bit. You know, I'm much more into just being around people and, you know, exploring bodies. But yeah, there's a lot. I have a lot of estrogen running through.
I know you do.
It's fun.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and like I know you so well. When you had a lot of testosterone running through you, also, so I can actually like see nuances that maybe not a lot of people can see, and it's so interesting because I'm like, oh, so a lot of this really comes down to like the estrogen versus the testosterone in the world.
Yeah.
If there was more fucking estrogen, shit would be different.
That's the fucking truth. I mean, you know, it's testosterone is weird, and I mean, like, for some people it's necessary. I mean, certainly for trans men,
right?
A lot of them need that,
right?
But for others, they don't. You know, and
right. It's just testosterone is there's not as much nuance with testosterone as there is with estrogen. Is what I'm feeling.
Like, it's like, hey, where's something wet? Let me put something there.
Right. Exactly. Whereas, like with estrogen, it's yeah.
Something I should say is, you know, and I probably said I may have even said this in some of the video, but you know, one of the most amazing things about this transition is how much more in touch I am with my music. There used to be, for many years, you know, people who are assigned male at birth go through puberty. And then they go through sort of regular puberty, and then, like, when they're about 25, 26, there's a sort of a second round of puberty, and your face shifts, things change. About that time, you know, I already was established in my life as a musician, but it was harder. It was harder to find that focus, and now I'm sort of at my essence. It's like there's no filter between me and my music anymore. It's just there. I can access it. Playing guitar is effortless. And the feeling of being a musician in touch with their art is unbelievable. I feel so tuned in.
Welcome.
Thanks, babe.
Welcome. Okay.
How are you? Are you good?
I'm good. Lots of changes, but I'm good.
Okay.
Lots of changes, but all good, and I'm getting married.
Yeah. I saw the rock. It's gorgeous. My God. It's on your finger.
Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, you had your hand up before.
Wait,
my God, it's
not huge, so don't be like it's a rock, but it's elegant and beautiful.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
I'm glad you chose a square cut.
Dude, I didn't choose it.
Brad got it?
Dude, do you know what he did? We're playing on the stage at City Winery in Nashville, and we're like halfway through the fucking set on Valentine's Day, which I've had the worst Valentine's days of my life. I'm so cynical about Valentine's Day, and we get into the only fights we ever fight are during music things. And one thing, we drive each other crazy, and I've got a pet peeve where he talks too much on stage.
Yeah.
And so we're sailing through the set, and all of a sudden he starts talking, and then talking, and I'm like, ugh. And I've got wine in the back, and I go to the back, and then all of a sudden, before I know it, the motherfucker's put his guitar down on a stand, and it said, I think, we've been together a long time. I think it's time I take a knee. And I mean, I don't know how many fucking people are in the audience. He's down on a knee and whips out a box with a ring in it. I'm like, what are you doing? What the?
Well, you knew it was going to happen eventually, but
I mean, in front of 100 people.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think that was going to happen.
I didn't know that was going to happen. Brad didn't tell me that.
So Brad didn't tell anyone apparently, except for Rachel.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty funny. Yeah.
He's a good guy. I'm happy for the two of you.
He's a good guy.
I got to figure out how what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm gonna be doing so much freaking traveling. I need to figure out how to exploit airline miles. I need money. Money would be good.
You need money.
Let's sell this.
Let's sell this fucker and get some money. I know.
That would be great.
I know.
And I'm also really glad that you're still working with Alex, and I know there's a lot of tension between the two of us.
Yeah, but I don't want. That's not something that either of us want to influence anything. You guys are two wonderful people, and I wasn't bullshitting them when I said I loved their book, and that it's fucking stuck with me, and I really want to do something with it. And now I'm just getting to a place where I have a little agency, I have a little currency, and so there was no bullshit there.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex deserves the best, and I believe in their book, and I believe in them, and no matter what happened between us personally, I'm never going to stop believing in them, and that's the most, that's hard to say, because a lot of people dismiss people when they break up with them, but
right.
I'm not going to do that, and I would never do that.
I said something to Alex, also, and it's true, and I tried to say it from the perspective of being much older than them, and having lived through enough different relationships and stuff like that. I said, because they said, they're struggling, and there's good things going on, but they're also struggling. I said, I've never in my life experienced something, no matter how tough it was, and not looked back at some point and understood that it was perfect, that it all happened the way it was supposed to. I said, and this isn't about anyone being good or bad or right or wrong. I said, if and I'm not trying to save you anything, but that's really the way that it works. That really is the way that it works. And I said, and I've been through, I've done some fucking major damage, and people have, made choices that have resulted in me struggling. But it always works out how it's supposed to. And if you could tell yourself that, come back and tell yourself that, it would really sort of, it would maybe save a lot of pain. But I think that that's the journey that brings you to the place where you can turn back and go, this was fucking perfect. I couldn't have created this. So where Alex will end up and where you will end up will be perfect. And the time that you spent together was perfect.
It was. And, you know, the last night we spent together was perfect in many ways. And
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, stuff happens. And, you know, I would just like to have my guilt back. That's all.
Your what?
I would just like to have my guilt back. That would be nice.
Where is it?
Alex took my SG and my guild and gave them to somebody, my red guild, and gave them to somebody and told them that they could do whatever they wanted with them. And said, oh, it was an accident, because they took all my instruments. They took they curved all my amps and my computer and stuff, but they took all my instruments to parts unknown, gave them to some schmuck who gave my guild my most expensive guitar and my two most valuable guitars away to his ex-girlfriend in another state. And apparently, and Alex, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I just want them back. That's all I want, is my fucking guitars back. It's really, really hurts. And I don't want to, it's like, the last thing I told Alex, it's like, I did everything I could, just like, I don't want to press charges. I just want Alex to do the right thing.
And are they going to?
I don't know. I'm sorry to tell you that.
That's a bummer. That's a fucking bummer. That's not necessary.
$6,000 worth of instruments.
Do you have anything to play on right now?
Yeah, I've got the guitar, the Dreadnought. That's the main guitar I've been using.
Okay.
And then the SG had become my main electric guitar. I have another guitar that's actually worth a lot of money that I kept at my mother's house specifically because it accrued value. It's a custom shop Fender from the 90s that I bought for nothing. And like all of a sudden those guitars are worth like $5,000, and I'm like, well, it's a good guitar. I might as well fucking play it. So I have to put it on my insurance policy tonight. But you know, it's not the same thing.
No, it's not. That's a bummer.
Yeah. It's beyond a bummer. It's hurtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, they say they're trying to get it back, but they're also saying they don't really care, which sucks. I don't know how to respond to any of that.
I don't either. I hope that they make the right choice.
Me too. They made a lot of poor choices in this thing. I tried really hard not to.
Yeah.
And like, they made a lot of bad choices, and I'm not. It's not like I'm gonna go to the cops or anything. I just want them to fucking get my shit and like, or at least tell me who the fuck has it.
I think that's a fair ask. I mean, that's like, whether you like someone or not, you know, just do the right fucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of heartbreak to end. I don't want to end our conversation on that note. I love you a lot.
I love you, baby. I totally miss you.
You're my big sister. All right,
so I'll talk to Brad shortly because he knows that we're talking right now, and we'll come up with a plan so we can have a meal and hang out next week.
Wednesday lunch would be great.
Okay.
Do lunch on Wednesday, maybe.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Done.
I love you, honey.
I love you too. Thank you. Mwah. Let's see what I can come up with.
And I'll send you Dropbox with those videos.
Oh, please don't forget, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, thank you. Bye.